Hello and
Hello.
welcome to the VIP show. My name's James Taylor, keynote speaker on creativity, innovation, and artificial intelligence.
And I'm Alison Burns, Ethical Futurist, looking at all things ethical, especially future.
There you go. And lovely to have you here, wherever you're joining us from today, whether you're on the interweb somewhere, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, wherever you are.
Wherever in the globe.
Wherever in the globe. Welcome, welcome. So this show, if you're joining us for the very first time, the VIP show, every week we introduce to you, the I in the VIP stands for interesting. So we're going to introduce you to an interesting company, organization, an interesting person, an interesting thing of the week. So let's get started. Alison, do you want to take us through our very interesting company, business of the week?
Well, yes, we're kind of fans of this company. It's Beyond Meat. Now, they've been pioneering the plant-based options for people who don't want to eat meat, animal flesh anymore. We may as well be straight about it, animal flesh. So anyway, but they've recently entered into a joint venture with PepsiCo.
I was really surprised. This came in, I think it's just announced yesterday or today.
It's fairly recently, hasn't it been? So, but they've started this joint venture, and I suppose PepsiCo is one of those companies. Obviously, they're famous for sugary drinks, but they have an amazing distribution network at their fingertips. So I would imagine that's a way for Beyond Meat to actually distribute and get a much wider global reach for their products.
So Beyond Meat, I'm always confused. Is this the one that uses kind of mushrooms and things, or is this the one that's actually made in a laboratory? I'm always confused.
No, these are plant-based.
So these are actually come from plants. Hasn't been grown in a.
But they're absolutely delicious. I mean, we've tried. They've got ranges beyond just burgers. What Beyond Burger, Beyond Sausage, Beyond meatballs, Beyond Beef.
Oh, so and some of these look good. I'm hungry now.
So but what they've been doing, I suppose PepsiCo have been looking to be more sustainable in how they grow their business. So this is a serious joint venture, and it's going under the name of a Planet Partnership. Okay. So it's really with the planet in mind, becoming much more, as they become much more aware of the choices that people are making when it comes to food, and how they're thinking. They're much more aware of the sustainability of their food as well. I mean, this is a big growing area.
But this, I think what I find very interesting. I mean, Beyond Meat share price has been going like through the roof recently for a number of different reasons. We're not giving investment advice here, but this is just going to be what's been going on. It's going through the roof at the moment. And I think this partnership's an interesting one, because sometimes, think a lot of those kind of plant-based or vegan products as, as being kind of niche type of things. But this PepsiCo, they're going into partnership with huge. One of the, in terms of distribution, incredible, like fast food restaurants, just, regular restaurants.
So that will open up a whole new avenues to actually, and because people are now much more open to tasting. And the awareness is really heightened, but I know that Beyond Meat's share value went up by something like 26%. So people are making those smarter choices.
You're seeing a lot of investors kind of get into this space just now. I mean, there were a lot of the kind of celebrities started getting into it probably about 2-3 years ago or something. I don't know if Tom Hanks, is he one of the people? There was like some pretty famous kind of celebs that started investing in it, who weren't vegans, but just saw, people are environmental reasons or other reasons they decided to invest. This is one of the companies they decided to invest in. So I think Leonardo DiCaprio, I think he's one of the big investors.
Yeah.
So this is interesting. So this is Beyond Meat. These are their plant-based burgers, just tied up with PepsiCo now, big distribution, and interesting company.
Very interesting.
Interesting company.
So watch your space. But actually, if you get the opportunity to actually try some of the burgers and the Beyond Meat products, definitely worth a try. We're fans of them. Try not to eat it too often, but it's tasty. It's healthy. It's a healthier choice. But I wonder as well, because of the COVID restrictions going on just now, people are not eating out in restaurants as much. So I think that's probably had a slight detrimental effect on, because a lot of restaurants and also places like McDonald's and other food establishments, fast food establishments, have actually been selling the Beyond Meat. So
it's been interesting. I know there was talking to some people in this kind of agricultural kind of space. What they noticed was when a lot of places went into lockdown, people are cooking from home, not going out. Sales of things like steaks, bigger things, actually went down. And certainly here in the UK, they saw things like mince going up, burgers, sausages.
Why do you think that was?
I think it's just because it's easy to prepare. I think that's what it is. It's easier to prepare, easy to freeze. So I guess that's why. So
I know you've got a plant-based option now,
and you have plant-based.
So it's much healthier. Yeah. So that's all.
So Beyond Meat is our very interesting business organization company of the week. Let's talk about our very interesting person of the week. This is an unusual one here.
Well, our very interesting person this week resides at Storybook Farm in Ontario. Now, it's actually a primate sanctuary. So our very interesting person is actually a white-capped capuchin monkey called Pockets. Now, Pockets Warhol, he's a very interesting chap, as I like to say. We're going to give him personality. We're going to give him personhood on this show because he deserves it. I mean, a lot of the animals are sentient, but he's very much a monkey that has, all monkeys do have an awareness of their surroundings, but he paints and he's quite a fascinating character. If you get a chance to go and check him out on Twitter, there's lots of videos there of Pockets painting, and no one makes him paint. He just enjoys painting. His background is that he was someone's pet in BC in Canada, and he was well loved and well cared for, and his owner, I don't like using that word, but his owner,
guardian,
that's maybe a better word. Guardian decided that it was maybe it was maybe a time for Pockets to retire to somewhere where he would be amongst other monkeys, and he'd be looked after. And his retirement place was a sanctuary in Ontario called Storybook Farm Primate Sanctuary. So he's about 28 years old, and but he's known for his painting. And what kind of is his artistic style? Though? He's abstract. He's a very abstract kind of guy.
He's a bit of a Jackson Pollock fan.
But we've actually got 3 of his paintings. But we're not the only people who have his painted canvases. There's lots of celebrities. Well, actually, when I say celebrities, they're actually artists, maybe musical or artists in their own right, actual art artists. And he's collaborated as well with other artists. In fact, we know that I think recently one of his pieces of art is actually going to be on an album cover, and so there's good stuff happening with his art.
You're the ethical futurist. So what are the ethical concerns about this? Because you have animals being mistreated, or you have animals being used in the film industry, for example, or the advertising industry. So what's some of the ethical implications of?
Well, I have my own views in relation to the use of animals, because animals should be free to live their lives, to live lives worth living, and lives that are worth living to them, because they have different needs. Animals, especially, and monkeys and elephants, all different animals have different needs that make their life a quality life and a life worth living for them. So I don't think animals are not ours to use or abuse, to use as entertainment, to wear or eat. And but Pockets, if you look at the circumstances where people are actually trading in exotic pets, and breeding exotic pets for profit, so it's for money, and you have roadside zoos, and there's lots of cruelty involved with animals, and particularly these what are classified as exotic pets, and they're not easy to keep as pets, because they're really not meant to be pets.
Yeah.
But that's why places like Storybook Farm Primate Sanctuary exists, because these animals have come from all with their own distressing stories, and they've maybe had traumatic lives, and some of them too traumatic to tell. But Pockets has been one of the fortunate monkeys who's had good cared for life before his retirement. But you can't just put these monkeys out into the wild again. They've got to be looked after and cared for somewhere safe.
So tell me this: being a lawyer, you're the ethical futurist, and you're a lawyer. Who owns the copyright in his art?
Well, if you think about a child creating a piece of work,
yeah,
they may not have majority in terms of their age. You know, you become in Scotland you gain majority when you're 16. So there's certain things you can do contractually. You get married when you're 16. You can sign contracts, and there's various other things. In England, it's slightly different for, you know, getting married or with consents and things. And maybe 18. So there's different age groups. But if a child creates a piece of work, that art is still there. It's still their artwork. Yeah. So Pockets creates the artwork, and very much his copyright. It's his copyright. So he has artistic rights, you would say moral rights. Well, this is his piece of work, and this is a piece that we actually have. It's called Tangled Up in Blue.
Nice. Yeah.
So we actually have it here.
So you can see it. This is it.
Oh, this is it in real life.
One of his pieces here. And does he sign it?
Well, it's on the back. On the back. Signs it on the back. Well, there's Pockets Warhol. But actually, I'll just grab this as well. With the painting, we received.
Am I holding it the right way around?
I think so.
I am.
Yeah, look at we received a certificate of authenticity. So and this tells us when it was produced. It was made or
2019. Sorry,
2019. Yeah. So
okay. So Pockets a he or she?
Pockets is a boy.
Pockets is a boy. Okay. So Pockets is his work, his artistic work, but in the same way that maybe a child star or Britney Spears, who I don't think the judge said she doesn't really have capacity in some sense. So they've given almost like a guardianship to, I think it was a father who kind of looks after
a big court case.
A big court case. That's a different thing.
Another story.
But it's almost treated like, so this capuchin monkey is treated like that. Someone, they have a guardian who hopefully, you know, looks after their financial affairs.
Well, I know that all the money that when these Pockets artwork is sold, all the money goes into the sanctuary. So it's a great way of helping the monkeys there that have been rescued or being looked after and cared for if they'd been someone's pets. But Pockets had a good home life, and he was well loved and well cared for in BC, and no one ever forced him to paint. I know when we've had trips to Thailand and we first witnessed elephants painting, and I thought, how does that happen? But actually, when you find out that elephants have been mistreated and their spirits broken, and they're actually forced, the mahouts have trained them by pulling their ears and prodding them with sticks to make them paint. So, but none of that's happened with Pockets. Pockets has had a well cared for and loved life, and he loves painting. And he actually, if you go on the website, so it's the website is www.storybookmonkeys.org, and if you want to help out the monkeys there, you can also donate or help to donate some things to the sanctuary. Pockets is always looking for non-toxic kids paint so that he can continue to paint. And if you get a chance, go on the website and go on his Twitter at Pockets Warhol and watch him paint. It's absolutely fascinating. I'm a huge fan.
I noticed we've even got this one here. The one we've got, it's even got some of his hairs.
His little some of his fibers of his fur are actually in amongst the paint. So it's just wonderful.
There's some Pockets DNA in that painting as well.
It's wonderful.
Well, fantastic. So that's Pockets Warhol, animal art, I guess, of a certain type as well. And Pockets Warhol is our very interesting person, because we're giving Pockets personhood. Person of the week. Okay. What's next? Should we talk about our tool of the week? Our kind of app, thing of the week. Our thing of the week,
our very interesting thing of the week. Well, with everything changing in relation to fabrics and that you talk about circular economy when it comes to wardrobes and clothing, and I actually found some interesting information online, and it was to do with mushroom leather. Now, obviously, it's not leather, but it was a material that's made out of mushrooms. So there are two German companies that I found that have been working on this plant-based mushroom leather combined with recycled plastic bottles to make this fabric, which they've been making sustainable shoes.
Wow. Okay.
So it's don't you step on my blue suede shoes. It's don't you step on my mushroom shoes.
So they take the mushrooms. They, I don't know.
Well, it's the part of the mushroom that grows under the ground. So it's a part of that mushroom.
But you wouldn't eat anyway.
I don't think so.
Maybe.
I don't think it's the stalk. I think, but as far as I'm aware, it's the part of the mushroom that
the fibrous
that actually grows beneath the ground.
Got it.
So, but interestingly enough, Adidas have launched. Well, last year they launched some vegan shoes, but now they're looking at going into the mushroom leather zone.
Wow.
That's interesting, isn't it?
That's so I guess it's more sustainable rather than leather, for example, or maybe some other plastics as well. So Adidas is doing it, but because I know that car manufacturers, we put up a photo here just now actually of where was it? I think this was the Teslas. Yeah. So they use plant-based, but it's not mushroom.
They use currently they're using polyurethane, which is obviously better.
They don't do leather at all.
No, they don't. Well, no, this is on some of the models.
Okay.
Some of the models they're using polyurethane, which in itself isn't recyclable, but having done a little bit more scratching of the surface, they've actually launched some patents, or they're about to launch some patents in relation to this fibrous material that they're going to use on their interiors, on the trim as well. So they're looking to have more sustainable interiors as well as the trims as well. But currently, as far as I'm aware, these interiors, the seats and things, are made of polyurethane, which in themselves aren't recyclable. But they're recycling their cars, which is incredible. I find that incredible.
But I thought it was interesting. So this came out. I remember seeing Tesla offering their cars, and we were thinking about a new car, which we haven't bought yet. So if anyone has recommendations for cars, let us know. But we were thinking about what car to get. And so everyone said, get a Tesla, because they're great and everything. And I was like, electric, okay, let's see what the technology is like. But the technology looks very good. The other thing I was concerned about was the material, the stuff it's made from. And
I don't want to sit in a leather seat.
Yeah, I don't really want to sit in a leather seat. So that actually attracted me to Tesla. Other brands, other companies do it. For example, Land Rover, Range Rover, they do, I think it's pineapple, possibly, is a type of material.
Like pineapple
leather. But you have to pay some huge premium for it. And I would have thought, well, surely you should be paying less for the pineapple. Yeah. And then the other day, I noticed, I'm not saying we get this car, it would be very nice, but Bentley have now come out with one of their new models. And I think this is going to be using this mushroom leather. You were talking about Adidas.
That's interesting. Oh, actually, it looks like a mushroom inside, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's got that nice,
into a mushroom.
Nice colour, like a truffle car.
So that's interesting. So that's like a mushroom leather. So that's like the sustainable shoes, isn't it? Like a mushroom. So it'll be biodegradable, I would imagine.
There you go. But I just find it really cool that a lot of these kind of higher end brands, like the Teslas, like the Range Rovers, like the Bentleys in this case, that's where they're going. And so it'll be really interesting to see, in the same way we were talking about Beyond Meat earlier. First place I tasted Beyond Meat was a relatively kind of fancy place in Abu Dhabi. And now going to like Red Robin's, I think it is in America, like
you can have
a place and you can get them there. You see them all over the place, the Beyond products. So it just takes a little bit of time then to feed into the wider kind of population as well. So vegan leather.
Yes, mushroom leather is biodegradable. So fungi shoes.
Fungi shoes. And we've got Chris McKillop here as well saying, my cat is very good at art.
Oh, great.
His sculptures done on the sides of the sofas is very expressionistic. Ooh.
Our cat does that as well. So
yeah.
It's a bit abstract and also it's improvised art.
So if anyone has any expressionist art by their animals, their dogs, cats, horses, whatever, leave them in the comments.
Yeah, but check out Pockets. So Pockets is I could watch Pockets all day.
And Pockets is in Toronto, I seem to remember.
Ontario, just outside Toronto. I can't remember exactly. Sunderland. Yes, it's just outside Toronto.
If you live in Canada, Eastern Coast Canada, when the allows, when you can start moving again, maybe go and pay a little visit to Pockets, pick up one of his artwork while you're there as well. So I think that's us. I think we've kind of gone through everything for this week. I don't think we've got anything. Yeah, there we go. Go back
Just
here.
us.
Just us. So Are you excited about this week? What's been...
I'm excited. No, actually, because there's been a lot of discussion about, and also court cases in New York about legal personhood, non-human rights. The Non-Human Rights Project are actually pursuing legal personhood for animals. Well, there's Happy the elephant.
Happy the elephant.
And it's quite a sad tale, but they're pushing boundaries now, and things will change. Things will change, and it just needs to be a leap into that zone where people will just say, you know, animals deserve to be treated properly, like sentient beings, you know, not just to be, they shouldn't be captive, because there's what's called a habeas corpus, being held, you know, having the liberty taken away from them. So it's really important. But places like Storybook Sanctuary are very important. Whilst things transition and we stop using animals for our entertainment or using them for all sorts of stuff, just to let them make food. Exactly. So we need to look after them, care for them. So anyway, check them out.
Great. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us this week. You can follow Alison if you go to Alison's Twitter at Alison Burns Jazz. You can also go to YouTube, just look for Alison Burns Jazz as well. If you want to follow me, you can go to my website, jamestaylor.me, or go to LinkedIn if you're maybe watching it just now as well. Just look for James Taylor Keynote Speaker. Until next week, thank you so much for watching. My name is James Taylor, Keynote Speaker on Creativity, Innovation, and Artificial Intelligence.
And I'm Alison Burns, Ethical Futurist and Jazz Singer.
Very nice to have you all here. Take care, everyone.
Take care.
We'll see you next time.
We'll see you next week. Thanks.